You're listening to Legal Talk Network.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Special Reports on Legal Talk Network. This is Adam Biegel with Alston and Bird, and I'm the host for today's show, which is being recorded on location at the ABA Antitrust Law 2017 Spring Meeting in Washington, D.C. Joining me now, I have Paul Friedman and Peggy Ward. Welcome to the show. Before we get started, could you each tell me a little bit about yourselves and your role at the Spring Meeting? Paul?
Sure, I'm happy to do that. So I'm a partner at Deckert LLP in Washington, D.C., and I'm co-chair of the Spring Meeting with Peggy. Delighted to be here with you today.
Great. Thanks. Peggy?
Sure. Pleasure to be with you, Adam. Thanks for having us. As Paul indicated, I'm co-chair of the Spring Meeting. I'm a partner at Jones Day in Silicon Valley.
Terrific. For those who may not be here and listening to this, could you tell us a little bit about the Spring Meeting? What is the Antitrust Section Spring Meeting?
So I'll go first. I would describe the Spring Meeting as the Lollapalooza of CLE programs. This is the place where you can get all of your mandatory CLE, all of your ethics CLE, and most importantly, you can do a deep dive into antitrust and learn everything you want to know about antitrust, from cartel work to litigation to merger work. And consumer protection law.
And who comes to the Spring Meeting? Is it just lawyers who've been doing this 10, 20, 30 years? Or are there other people who can benefit from the Spring Meeting?
There's actually a tremendous diversity of people who attend the Spring Meeting every year. It's not limited to lawyers. It includes lawyers of all levels of experience, areas of practice within the broad umbrella of antitrust and consumer protection law. It includes a number of economists. It includes academics, consultants, an increasing number of law students, and separate and apart from different professions, different areas of focus, we increasingly have antitrust professionals coming from literally all over the world to come and attend and participate in the Spring Meeting.
And am I right, the government is heavily involved too, which I think has been part of its success. How prevalent is that, to government officials from the U.S. and abroad coming to the Spring Meeting?
So one of the things that I think is the greatest aspects of the Spring Meeting is you can bump into the Assistant Attorney General for Antitrust, the Deputy Assistant Attorneys General for Antitrust. Just walk up, stick your hand out and say, "Hi, I'm Joe, and I want to talk to you." And you know what they do? They talk to you. And it's been like that every year, and the same with the Federal Trade Commission and heads of enforcement for competition authorities from all over the world.
And I would also add, in recent years, we've seen an increasing number of judges coming to the Spring Meeting, both federal district court, appellate court judges from the U.S., as well as justices from the International Court of Justice. So not only do you get to meet with the enforcers, you can cross paths with and get to chat with the men and women who are deciding cases that may be eventually litigated.
Right.
I'll put in a plug for two of the panels that we have. I think one is today and the other is Friday morning. These are called Views from the Bench, and we have a panel that focuses on merger litigation and another panel that focuses on non-merger litigation. And these are federal judges who have presided over the trials of antitrust cases. And it's a tremendous opportunity for anybody who thinks they want to litigate an antitrust case to go see and hear from people who do it as part of their job.
And to give people a sense of how large it is, how many people attend, or how many programs are offered? It's not just one or two rooms and 10 or 20 people. But what are the statistics from this year's conference?
So as of this morning, we had over 3,200 individuals registered for the Spring Meeting. And in terms of the array of panels they can attend, I think we have upwards of 60 different panel discussions scheduled over the course of 3 days, culminating in the final event of the Spring Meeting is an Enforcers Roundtable, which includes the heads of the U.S. Department of Justice, Federal Trade Commission. This year it also includes the head of the Commissioner of the European Commission overseeing competition law in the EU. It includes the head of Mexico's Competition Authority as well. So there's lots to see, whether you're interested in antitrust, consumer protection, and everything in between.
Okay. Any other things to highlight? We just had the good fortune of recording one of these other podcasts with a couple of the speakers at today's lunch, Professor Calkins from Wayne State and Mr. Goldfarb from the Goldfarb Supreme Court case in the 70s, which was a terrific treat, and I encourage people to listen to that. Any other things you might want to highlight for people thinking about attending next year who missed it this year, or things they may want to try to attend if they're listening to this while the conference is still going on?
One of the features that's coming up Thursday night at the Thursday night dinner is the guest speaker, General David Petraeus. And General Petraeus is going to be interviewed by Peggy's former colleague and former chairwoman of the Federal Trade Commission, Debbie Majoris. And I'm sure that's going to be a fascinating interview.
Right. And I would just highlight a couple of other sessions that are taking place this week and tend to take place from year to year. We have a mock trial focused on antitrust issues. We have a consumer protection mock trial. I'll put in a plug for a panel that Paul and I are moderating tomorrow, which is Hot Topics, where we have recent heads of the Bureau of Competition, the head of the Antitrust Division. We'll be talking about kind of later rising developments with a great lineup of speakers. And those are just a sampling of the dozens of sessions you can choose from. I would also just highlight, in addition to the actual CLE sessions you can attend, a real highlight of the spring meeting is the opportunity to network and to meet and build relationships with other antitrust colleagues you may be either co-counsel with or litigating against. And so it's a really great opportunity to build relationships.
Right, now that's a great point. I know we were talking just before the taping started about Paul's experience seeing this evolve over the years. Tell us a little bit about that. Has it changed over the years into what it's become and how?
Well, so this will date me, but that's okay. I started going to the spring meeting, I think, in 1980, and it was at the Omni Shoreham Hotel. I won't share with the listeners my characterization of the Omni Shoreham for fear of legal consequences, but the venue there was very different and much darker than the venue here. There was a cocktail reception then, as there is now, but the cocktails then, you had to have a ticket, like going to a carnival or a county fair. And I remember my first spring meeting, there was a stodgy old partner at my firm who had a roll of tickets, and he would dole them out one at a time to the associates, and he kept track of how many drinks we had. I can promise you that nobody is keeping track of how many drinks you have here, at least nobody who is officially associated with the spring meeting.
And there aren't tickets anymore.
That's true.
Well, walk on up. So, is this something that you think young lawyers or even law students would benefit from attending? Is there something, as you're saying, for all ages?
Absolutely. I attended my first spring meeting as I believe, a second-year lawyer. That was almost 20 years ago. And it was amazing to me how within the course of 2 or 3 years, that the first year I went, didn't know anyone other than my colleagues. By the second or third or fourth year, I viewed the spring meeting as a wonderful opportunity to catch up with a lot of antitrust lawyers and economists that I had met through the ABA. And in particular for law students, it's a great opportunity for law students who can attend at a significantly discounted rate to not only get some good education, but also have a good opportunity to meet folks who may wind up becoming their mentors.
So I will put in a plug for being an antitrust lawyer as a great way to spend your legal career, because you get to learn so much about so many different industries. You get to really stretch your mind. I come at this as an antitrust litigator, so I get to take that passion into the courtroom and teach judges about what I love most. And the thing that I think is great about the spring meeting is you get to extend your network, you get to make friends, you get to talk to your adversaries who are on the opposite side of you in deals or in courts, and it's a much more welcoming atmosphere where you make friends and you learn to trust and respect people, and it makes it easier to get things done when you leave here and go someplace else.
I'd be remiss in not also asking the two of you as co-chairs about how this all comes to pass. I know you all have been working on this for many, many months. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about how the spring meeting happens? It doesn't just happen overnight.
So, Peggy, would you like to go first on that one?
I'll kick it off and feel free to chime in.
Sure.
So the job that Paul and I have really begins in earnest the August before the spring meeting, at which time we invite the hundreds, if not thousands, of members of the antitrust section membership to propose session ideas for us, along with proposed speakers. So Paul and I have a month or two to sort through what is usually a set of wonderfully creative ideas and figure out, okay, what are the 50 or 60 panels that we're going to put on. Those are approved by the counsel, and then our job continues, at which point we then follow up with those panelists and speakers and check in to make sure that they're planning for a good session, that they're preparing CLE materials. And a lot of our work is focused on the panels themselves. That being said, the staff, the ABA staff, plays a critical, crucial role in planning as well. And their planning really starts years in advance. They handle the logistics. They make sure that the space where we're meeting is first rate. That for folks who are coming in from out of town, they can stay in a nice hotel. They arrange for some of the wonderful receptions that we've been plugging. So it's really a multi-month and for some people a multi-year planning effort.
And one of the other things that Peggy and I do is really focus on the mix of programs so that there is something for everybody. We try to cover a wide range of substantive matters, and assembling the speakers for the panels, trying to get a good mix of people, both diversity and plaintiff perspective, defense perspective, government perspective. And it really is an opportunity for younger lawyers to work their way up through the section to earn, really, and I want to emphasize that you do earn the privilege to speak at the spring meeting, but it's a great platform to enhance your resume.
Terrific. Down to the last question or two. But one question I wanted to ask you to maybe entice people to come next year. We're in a far different venue than the one you described earlier. This is the first year we're at a new, the new facility here at the Marriott Marquis. Does this allow new, larger and creative ideas for displaying all of the things the spring meeting has to offer that people may be able to look forward to continuing to grow, into next year and beyond?
So we've got our meeting space is much bigger. There always was this crash of people when sessions let out around the coffee pots, and we're saved from that now. We've got coffee stations on multiple levels. The meeting rooms are bigger so that people don't feel like they have to sit in overflow rooms and watch the programs on video remotely. And we've added more sessions because we have more meeting space.
Okay, but one final question. For people who would be interested in contacting either of you for more information about the spring meeting or next year's spring meeting or simply how to get involved in the section, how should they contact each of you?
I think you can contact me via email. It's under margaretward@jonesday.com. Actually, it's maward@jonesday.com. I also would refer you to the ABA Antitrust Section webpage, which has an abundance of information about the spring meeting and other programs and conferences that the section is hosting.
And my email is paul.friedman@deckert.com, and Friedman is Friedman, and Deckert is Dechert.
Terrific. I want to thank both of you for joining us today. This is Adam Biegel, and this has been another edition of Special Reports. Until next time, thank you for listening.
The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.